Hello, I think we are live there on YouTube and on StreamYard. Yeah, to confirm we are. Great, so welcome
Hello,
to this
everybody.
session of Feature Focus. Malta, my colleague, you can say hello there again, Malta.
Hello, everybody. Great to see you.
Nice to meet you all. So my name is Anya. I'm a Customer Success Executive here at Tola Data. I'll just be helping Malta out today with the presentation. So today we'll be looking at the disaggregation for time-based analysis. We'll just give it another 30 seconds to let people join. So I'm sure a lot of you were looking forward to this feature. We had the disaggregation for aggregated indicators. We presented on that, myself and Malta, about 2 months ago. So we're very happy to bring you this feature here today. I know anybody reporting on projects within Tola Data will be looking forward to this. So you're all very welcome today, wherever you're joining from. Good morning, afternoon. I hope you have a cup of coffee with you and you're ready for a short and informative session. So I'll give it another 30 seconds there throughout the session as well. So at the end, you will have a chance to ask questions. So I can even pop this up on the screen. We're going to use Mentimeter, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. So if you go to menti.com, you can enter that code there. And then you can go on to Menti now, and throughout the presentations, if you have questions, you can pop them in now and they will pop up at the end, and Malta will kindly answer them for us. So I can even begin there. I've given it a minute. So as I mentioned, this is the disaggregation for time-based analysis feature. We released this about 2 weeks ago. And in these feature-focused sessions, what we're aiming to do is just provide a short and informative deep dive into the different features that Tola Data has. If you want, you can go to toladata.com/feature focus, and there you can sign up for the newsletter. So this is sort of a special and new feature that we're doing, but we also have them on just our regular features. So say next week on the 3rd of May, we have one on building your indicator plan. Last week, or sorry, apologies, 2 weeks ago, we had one on building out your results framework. So you can see they're sort of in chronological order. And then we had a results framework, and then next time we'll be building that indicator plan. So today, we will be presenting on the disaggregation of time-based analysis. So with that, I will hand over to Malta, and he will give a short presentation and then the demo of the feature.
Thank you very much, Anya. So today we'll be talking about time-based analysis for disaggregation data. And as always, and first we're looking at where within the Tola Data application this feature can be found. It can be found within the indicator section, and more precisely within the respective indicator in the results summary section. What does the feature do in a nutshell? What the feature does, it allows you as the user to analyze how disaggregation data develop over time. And this feature works both for what we call non-aggregated and aggregated indicators. And we'll have a look at that in the platform in a few minutes. Why did we create the feature? As Anya already mentioned, recently in February, we released the feature called time-based analysis for aggregated indicators. And the feature we built now, the time-based analysis for disaggregation data, is almost like a logical continuation of that process. We are now looking at how, when you have an indicator, whether aggregated or not aggregated, its disaggregation data develop over time. So it's really a very logic continuation. That is why the purpose, the value it is creating, is also very similar to the value that has been created by the previous feature, namely the time-based analysis for aggregated indicators. So what the feature creates, it allows you to see at a glance how your disaggregation data develop over time. It helps to manage portfolios. It helps to see what the contributions of the different projects were for time, specifically focused on aggregation data. And it also helps you to see if the projects filled in the disaggregation data in the reporting periods that you are looking at. So this about the how. The why, sorry, how does the feature work? So we're going to look at the feature now in the platform itself. And for that, I'm just going to start sharing my screen. We are now in a classic Tola Data project. And I will go to an indicator called the number of participants trained on biodiversity. And you'll see if I go to the indicator, as always, you result summary tab. And it is in this tab where the new feature sits. Namely, under the new line here, disaggregated time-based results. So I'm going to click on that. Just to give you some background on the indicator, it is an indicator that has data over several years, and it's an indicator that disaggregation data has been added to. So if I click here, there's a few settings I can make in the beginning. I can choose the source of period type. So I would like to have an annual analysis. So I'm just going to click on standard, and I'm going to select annual. And then the system asks me to select the disaggregation type for which I would like to have the analysis. In this case, it's fairly easy because the indicator is only linked to one disaggregation type. If multiple disaggregation types had been linked here, I would have been able to select select from various disaggregation types in that drop-down menu. And what you're going to see next is a few things. You're going to see a chart, and you're going to see two different tables. So what does the chart show us? The chart shows us how within the respective periods, reporting periods 2021, 2022, and 2023, the disaggregation data was made up. It's the disaggregation type gender, which has three disaggregation labels: male, female, and non-binary. So you can see right away by hovering over that, for example, in the year 2022, there were 48 male participants, 54 female, and 2 non-binary. I can then also see this broken down for the entire non-aggregated indicator. So I know that in 2021, I had 52 participants, in 2022, 104, in 2023, 56. And now I can see this also broken down. So the table down here is the table display of the graph we see up here. It's just that sometimes some people prefer reading graphs, others prefer reading tables. So we decided to give both options here. So here you can really see neatly how the disaggregation data for this indicator developed over time. So this is the example for a non-aggregated indicator. And as old Tola data experts, you know that we also have aggregated indicators in the Tola data system. And aggregated indicators are values where the value of whom is not determined by the results that you add directly against them, but rather by applying a mathematical formula to various so-called contributing indicators. So in this example here, we are at the country level Nigeria, and we have two projects, one in Gombe and one in Yobe, contributing data. And I think I may just go back to the same example we used earlier, the participants. That's we see here that the two projects are contributing participants as well to the Nigeria country portfolio. So now again here, we will click on the results summary, and we are going to click on disaggregated time-based results. This time, the selection will be done automatically here. Why is that? That is because, as we've learned a few months ago, for any given aggregated indicator, it is going to show you time-based results based on the reporting period types that have been linked against this aggregated indicator. So in this case, it's only annual. That is why in the results summary, automatically, our selector is going to pick this reporting period type, and we've only added one disaggregation type against this indicator. So that is why gender has been pre-selected. So this, on the first glance, looks very similar to the view we just saw 3 or 4 minutes ago, but there's a tiny difference because now we're talking about an aggregated indicator. And the difference is that now you are going to have a third table. The first table is the same, it's the actuals for the indicator. The second gives you the actuals disaggregated. So we know that for this aggregated indicator, out of the 187 participants we had across the two projects in 2021, 84 were male, 100 were female, and 3 were non-binary. So this is the same analysis that you got also a few minutes ago for the non-aggregated indicator. But for aggregated indicators, we've added another table, namely the table actuals disaggregation values by contributing indicator. And this breaks down the data that you see up here even further, namely ordered by the contributing indicators that the aggregated indicator consists of. And this is a use case that we see very often with our clients, that they have 2 or 3 or sometimes even 20 different projects contributing to an aggregated indicator. So in this case, we have 2 projects, Gombe and Yobe. And for both of those projects, you're now going to see how the disaggregation regarding the indicator number of participants trained on biodiversity, how this developed over time. So we can see, for example, that here, out of the 84 male participants that there were across the 2 projects in 2021, 62 came from the project in Gombe, and 22 came from the project in Yobe. For females, similarly, we see that 72 participants in 2021 came from Gombe, and 28 came from Yobe, giving us a total of 100 female participants in 2021. And so here you see very clean data sheet. But for example, if the Yobe project hadn't entered any data for 2023 yet, here in the 2023 column, you would see data for Gombe, which has already entered data, but for Yobe, it would be blank if Yobe hadn't entered any data yet. So this is the idea that gives you an overview of how the respective projects are contributing to the aggregated indicator or to the country portfolio in that case, whether they've added already data or not. So it really is also very useful for management of projects. And that is the future in a nutshell. And I'll hand back to Anya now.
Thank you very much, Malta. So that was very informative. So I've popped up a banner there in the screen, so you can go to menti.com and enter that code. I can even pop up that QR code there. So I feel like you've went very into depth there, Malta. So we'll see if anybody has questions. I can see them pop here underneath, but I'll leave that on the screen for a minute. Yeah, that was very informative. I find that sometimes as a customer support, sometimes people get in touch with me and they think, why can't they add their reporting periods? And it's because they don't have them preset. So I think that's great to point that out. And then again, online, we have lots of guides and lots of resources. So if anybody's stuck on anything else, always get in touch with us. I can leave it there for another minute. Well, I'm taking this as a good sign that there's no questions coming up. Very informative. Another 30 seconds there. So Malta, what features do you have planned coming up for Toladata?
Very exciting ones.
Plenty of them.
Yeah, plenty of them. Some of which,
yeah, ready to go in our roadmap.
In various parts of the application, we're going to be adding features, making Toladata smarter, more beautiful, all the good stuff.
A lot coming from the client feedback as well, which we love getting.
Absolutely.
I think we've left it long enough there. I don't see any questions coming in, Malta, so I'm happy to leave it if you were. But again, get in touch with our live chat function if you're watching this back on YouTube and you do have any questions. So feel free to get in touch, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.